We're going to be reviewing the quadratic formula. What we're going to do is we're going to solve this quadratic for x, but we first have to identify a, b, and c. And remember that a is the coefficient of the leading term. In this case, it's -1. B is going to be the second term, which is 7. And c is a constant. So we know that the quadratic formula is -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. So to solve this, all we have to do now is substitute. So we know that b is 7, so you have -7 plus or minus square root, and we have 7 squared minus 4 times -1 times -3 divided by 2 times a, which is going to be -2. So what you have to do in the calculator is called the discriminant. This is called the discriminant. So let's go ahead and evaluate that. In our calculator, we have 7 squared minus 4 times -1 times -3. And let's see what we get. 37. So our answer for this quadratic is going to be -7 plus or minus square root, and inside the radical is what we call the discriminant, so it was 37 divided by -2. So you would leave it in that form. For number 2, we are going to have to solve this for x. It's a quadratic formula. We're going to use a quadratic formula. We know that x squared plus 6x equals 10. It has to be in standard form. So what you have to do here is subtract 10 from both sides. Obviously, you can't subtract 10 from the variable, so I'm going to write it up here. X squared plus 6x minus 10 equals 0. You still have to identify a, in this case is 1, b is 6, and c is -10. The formula is -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. So we have x equals, we have -b, -6 plus or minus square root, we have 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times -10 divided by 2 times a is 2. So we're going to, once again, we're going to use our calculator to evaluate the discriminant. That's called the discriminant. So we have 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times -10. That's 76. So this will be -6 plus or minus square root of 76 divided by 2. We probably want to see if we can divide 76 by 2. It is divisible by 2. Just kind of curious, what would it be if we divide by 2? It's 38. So 76, divide by 4. It looks like it's divisible by 4. It is. Okay. Why is that important? It's important because you can simplify. So the square root of 76 is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 19. The square root of 4 is 2. So this is -6 plus or minus 2 square root of 19 divided by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, so the square root of 19. For number 3, you're going to have to write it in standard form. So you have 2x squared minus 4x. Since you have to subtract 4x, you go to take it to the left. And then it's minus 3 is equal to 0. We know that a is equal to 2. We know that b is equal to negative 4. And we know that c is equal to negative 3. Let's go ahead and use the formula. The quadratic formula, x equal negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So now what you're going to do is you're going to substitute. We have negative b, which is going to be a negative of a negative 4, which gives you 4, plus or minus square root. We have, this is where you have to be careful, parentheses, since it's a negative, negative 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3 divided by 2 times a, which gives you 4. So let's go ahead and evaluate the discriminant. So I have parentheses negative 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3. That's 40. So you have 4 plus or minus square root of 40 divided by 4. 40 is the same as 4 times 10. 4 times 10. So you have 4 times 10. So you have the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. So we know that the square root of 4 is 2, so it's going to be 2 square root of 10. This is called simplifying. We've got to find a perfect number that we can find the square root of. In this case, it's 4. That's a perfect number. So square root of 4 is 2. So what you have here is 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 10 divided by 4. So it's 1 plus or minus 1/2 square root of 10. And square root of 10 doesn't have a perfect number that you can simplify with. So that's going to be our answer. For number 4, we got to write it in standard form. So we have 4x squared minus 36x plus 81 equals 0. Identify a, in this case it's 4. Identify b, in this case it's negative 36. And identify c, which is 81. The formula, x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times ac divided by 2a. So we have x equals negative b, which is going to be 36, plus or minus square root. Try to make it longer than what it is. Parentheses, negative 36 squared minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 81, divided by 2 times a, which is 8. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and use our calculator to evaluate the discriminant. Negative 36 squared minus 4 times 4 times 81. That's 0. Okay. Just to make sure, we have negative 36 squared minus 4 times 81, and that's 0. So what are you left with? 36 over 8, which you know has a 4 in common, which is 9 over